Hey, what's happening? It's your local baby daddy, Trell.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This Mill.
And this is Ego Aside. How you doing, man?
I'm coolin', bro. How your day going? How the month going?
Good, man. You know, we only a couple days in, but it's been good, man. Getting prepared for this surgery, trying to get right. You know, not too serious.
Transitioning from Black History Month, Women's History Month.
Yeah. Hey, yep. Yeah, we definitely did go from Black History Month to Women's History Month. So with it being Women's History Month, we definitely want to appreciate and show appreciation to the women. So this first segment that we're going to get into, this is our Woman of the Week that we have decided. And the woman that we have decided to acknowledge and to show love to is Asana Shakur. A lot of people, you know, there has been a negative light shined on this good sister, but there are reasons why, and we both discussed, and we're going to share with you guys the reason why we decided to go with Asana Shakur and to acknowledge.
She was a rider.
Yes.
That's why. She was a revolutionary.
Yes.
Not an activist, a revolutionary. It's a big difference.
Very strong black woman. Before, you know, Mill gets into, you know, explaining a couple of points about her, the reason why I wanted to go with Asana Shakur was because she was willing to be irrational, especially in that time frame, being a black woman, you know, trying to make change and seeing the things that needed to be changed. Sometimes you have to do things that do not seem rational, and she was willing to. And I think that's just powerful. That's powerful for her to step out there, to put herself out there, to have, you know, the government fearful of her, you know, not because she was trying to strike fear, but she let them know she meant business. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I can definitely respect that. I honor that. I admire that, you know, because, you know, just looking at where we was last year and where we are now, you know what I'm saying? Like last year, it was so much noise, riots, and everything. Now it just went back to quieting it down.
Right. The problem is symbolism. A whole bunch of nothing burgers. Absolutely nothing. No policy change. Just a whole bunch of murals and taking Cat in the Hat out of school, and that we ask for people to get locked up, murderers. But yeah, keep going, bro. Go ahead.
You know, but it's true though. You know, something happens and it strikes a fire, and it doesn't take long for the fire to go out. And with this good sister, you know, the fire never went out with her. You know, even to this day, she is still living. In case a lot of people don't know, but you know, the fire never went out. She knew that this was an everyday battle. This was not a sometime thing. You know, and don't get me wrong, everybody doesn't have to do it the same way that she went about it. But, you know, consistency is a big part. You look for consistency in your relationships. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to change and you saying that you want change, there's no consistency with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, you know, the good brother Mill is going to, you know, give y'all some good details, a short little bio.
Asana Shakur means a lot to me, yo. Everybody hears Shakur, they think about Tupac.
Right.
And that's what inspired Tupac's early career, you know what I mean? That's his godmother.
Right.
Asana Shakur was a rider. People talk about stepping and believing in the movement. She was the movement. She was the soul of the Black Liberation Army. But before she was in the Black Liberation Army, she was a part of the Black Panthers. She was just organizing the protests, getting people together. After that, she became a leader of the breakfast program, and she moved to New York. Her and the Black Panthers had some things they didn't necessarily agree on. She left, and she started up something different, the Black Liberation Army, BLA. She was known as the soul of the BLA. And, you know, she was just so tough. Like, that queen is just so tough, because I'm not going to say she was, because she's still riding and she was still alive. You know what I mean? Right. She was just so tough. Like, people that was selling harmful drugs in the community, they made sure that they would leave and never come back.
Right.
She did whatever she needed by any means necessary to protect the people in their community. The police was not coming in their community to raise hell, to bother people, to harass people. She was riding a woman in the late 60s, early 70s. That's too hard. You gotta respect her, you gotta love her. And you know, the big thing with her is one day she was pulled over. They was looking for her. You know, she got a lot of influence over a lot of people in a dark time. She got pulled over, situation happened, she got shot twice. They accused her of shooting the police. They locked her up, treated her horrible, bro. She was pregnant.
Yeah.
She was shot twice pregnant, went to jail, had a baby in jail. But this is the part that's like, through the struggle. It's beauty in the struggle because you're gonna make it out whatever you're going through. You gotta believe that she escaped. She escaped prison in America.
That's like some movie stuff, man.
That's something you only see in a movie.
Yeah.
And she lived in Cuba in exile, free. She could walk down the street, do whatever she want, and her kids with her. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's big love for that queen Asana Shakur.
Yeah, because I actually read that incident and the bullet wounds that she had, that was what got her convicted. Like what actually ended up going to jail. Because she was on trial for the shootout that happened in New Jersey, but they couldn't prove because the jury was like, well, she pregnant, so why would she be out there? And so they just found a whole bunch of petty charges to put on her to keep bringing her to trial. And when they examined her body and found the two, the bullet wounds or whatever, that's what they used to actually even get her locked up
from her pain.
Yeah.
It's messed up, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. But we did want to put a quote out that we both agreed on that was powerful. And the quote goes, "No movement can survive unless it is constantly growing and changing with the times. If it isn't growing, if it's stagnant, and without the support of the people, no movement for liberation can exist, no matter how correct its analysis of the situation is." What does that mean to you, bro?
Facts. That's the problem what's going on right now.
Right.
Like what you said, nobody's serious about the movement. We let the media and what's trending, we treat the movement like a trend.
Right.
You know what I mean? We see what's going on Instagram, what's trending on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. We just see what's going on, but we fail to realize what's going on in the streets.
Right.
A year ago, everybody was in the streets. Everybody was in the streets marching, protesting. We got people that act like they care, wearing kente cloths, kneeling, all that stuff. And now it just dwindles down. It dwindles down.
Every time.
But we never got what we were asking for. We got a whole bunch of, like I said earlier, symbolic nothingness. Symbolic nothing burger. A big burger of nothing you biting in the air. And people are like, yeah, we got it. We didn't get anything. Nothing is changing. A mural, a BLM mural in the middle of the street is not going to protect you from being gunned down in the middle of that street.
Right.
And the person that killed you is not going to go. It's not going to go to jail because their occupation. That's messed up. There's no justice in this.
It's really sad when a trending topic is justification or a means for success. You get what I'm saying? And the thing is, like, for her to even say, growing and changing with the times, she understood that it wasn't going to have to. I wasn't going to have to do these things over time as time went. You know what I'm saying? Being able to change with the times, figuring out what works in that time period. You know what I'm saying? But consistency is one thing that I feel like would never change. You know what I mean? Like some things, just everything has to be consistent if you really want something to change. There's no way to alleviate from that. There's no way to go away from that. You get what I'm saying? And that's what I feel like we're not getting at. We're not staying consistent. So we can't expect to change. How many of us is going to have to get killed, by police officers before we just stay consistent with it, where it's consistent change? We can't even get none of these cats convicted. No. You know what I'm saying?
None of them. Nobody.
It's crazy, man.
And it's just like, it's been going on for so long, and like people really been hurting, people dying, families, and riots. And it's just like all that could be prevented by replacing a system of hate, a system of nastiness, white supremacy and white dominance and greed and evil with a system of justice, love, equality.
Right.
For everybody. You know what I mean?
Right. But you know what, though? They always say it don't matter to you until it's knocking at your door, until it's on your footstep. And that's the sad thing, man.
We just got to stay into it once we get into it. You got to keep that energy. You got to keep that fire. Like I was telling somebody, somebody was like, oh, yeah, Breonna Taylor not trending no more. I'm like, okay, you keep that fire. You keep that energy. Because whatever is happening to her out there is going on in your city, too. Yeah. It's going on everywhere.
Everything is not highlighted, especially not when it's wrong. No. It's not going to be highlighted. That's huge, man. But, shout out to Asana Shakur, man, for real.
Shout out to all the women out there. If it's a woman out there you care about or you love, hit them up. Tell them you love them. You fellas, instead of sliding in shorty DM, she's not replying, bro. Hit up your mother, your aunt, your sister. You know what I'm saying? Tell her you love her. Tell her good morning. That's gonna make them feel way better than you sliding in a shorty DM, yo. That's not gonna reply.
Facts, man. I challenge every man, right? To just, for the women in your life, just send them a single rose or a single flower, whatever it may be, just to show a simple appreciation.
A lot of women in my life. That's
you know what I'm saying,
bro.
But I'm just saying though, you know,
not like that. Not like that. Damn, that's not wrong. Yo. I was raised.
Hey man, that's
women,
your business. We didn't ask for that, but you said it. I mean, but
right.
You know what I'm saying. But anyway, you know, show some type of appreciation, man. But
moving on
to our next segment.
We're gonna get into the people's choice. The people's choice. It's just what people recommend. They want to hear us talk about.
What is it this week, man?
It was a question actually from somebody, Seth Bonium. That's the whole first name.
Seth Bonium.
That's different, but it's cool.
It's cool.
From Rhode Island. She asked, what drives you? What motivates you in life? Like, what keeps you going?
What keeps me going?
Like, what drives you? What's your motivation? Like, that's what she wanted to hear about.
That's a good one, man. My motivation stems from a lot of areas. One thing I did have to realize within myself, though, it got to start with me. Right. If that makes sense. Like, my motivation had to be driven by myself. You know, because it's easy to say, you know, my kids motivate me, you know, and stuff like that. But it starts with me motivating myself. But my kids definitely, you know, put me in a position to keep it going, to keep driving on, to deal with the bull, to, you know, put up with people talking to you any kind of way. That doesn't happen too many times, but, you know, sometimes you can't always say what you want to.
Right.
You know, it's like what we said, restraint. But like my kids, man, when I can't do something for them or I can't do something for myself, man, that it puts a burn in me. You know what I'm saying? It really bothers me. What also motivates me is also accomplishments too. What I realize is, like, you have to appreciate those accomplishments, no matter how small, no matter how little, and appreciate the process. I love, like, even when we were starting the podcast, you know, researching, trying to find out information, you know what I'm saying? How can we make, you know, our podcast stand out, make it better, you know, trying to find somewhere to record if we was going to have to buy our own equipment. The process excites me because it makes me, when I'm going through the process, it makes me feel like I'm getting closer to my goal. You know what I'm saying? So that definitely pushes me and motivates me when I'm actually working towards an idea that I have. You know, like that's real big to me.
I feel that, bro.
What motivates you, man? What drives you?
Bro, me, it's jihad, bro. And you know jihad has got turned into an evil word by people blowing themselves up and all that.
Jihad, explain what that is, man.
Jihad is struggle, basically. And it's beauty in the struggle. Right. And it's just, I feel like what drives you is going to be the opposite of your purpose. You know, like, so when you find out your purpose, whenever you find out your purpose, like I feel like my purpose is to help people, spread love and useful knowledge. That's like my thing. Spread love and useful knowledge as far as it can spread, as contagious as it can be. And like my motivation behind that is just seeing people struggle, bro. Like seeing, like, my grandmother was real sick before we lost her. Seeing her, how she fought through it, she never complained. You know what I mean? My mother raised me and Joelle, just her. You know what I mean? She would never show us, but we could see the pain and the struggle on her face. Right. And in my city, you know what I'm saying? My city is hurting from Baltimore. You know, a lot of cities is hurting. And it's like, it pushes me to want to be able to retire my mother. You know what I mean? I don't want to see my mother work no more. Right. I want to put her in a crib and get her a little Tesla that she want. You know what I mean? Retire my family members, give my people's jobs, give my brothers that's still on the block a job. You dig what I'm saying? And give them some money so they can do the same thing for their folks, and they can create generational wealth for them. You know, that's what I want. It's really attainable. I really feel like it's something we can achieve, and just seeing people go through it makes me want to give more. Like, I'll give my last. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what motivates me, bro.
I think everybody should have something that motivates them. You get what I'm saying? Because if you're not motivated by anything, you know, how far can you really go? How far can you really get ahead if you're not motivated by anything? You know, I think a lot of times, like, mental health and stuff like that really stems from not being motivated. Nothing motivates you. Like in the military, right? that's one of the things that is recognized as a suicidal awareness kind of point out. If somebody doesn't want to do anything anymore, if they just sitting there, if they isolating themselves. You get what I'm saying? So motivation, if somebody says that I don't need no type of motivation, you know what I'm saying? Like right. You need something that's gonna make you keep pushing. I really feel like that.
And then when you don't got it, you just stop.
You just stop.
And that's what somebody told me one time. It was like a lot of people don't get buried till they 75, but they die when they 25. So they just living with no motivation, no ambition, no goals. So they just from 25 to 75, you just probably working a job, making somebody else rich, and live off your retirement for 10 years, and you're just gone.
And just alive.
Yeah, you're just alive. That's why it's like a difference between living and being alive. They just alive.
Right. But see, the thing is, so like I heard you just said like, you know, they working and making somebody else rich. We can't sit here and make it all about, you know, money is what causes motivation. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes other things is what push somebody to happiness. But I do like in that sense though, like just working, it's no good. You know what I'm saying? If you're not doing anything that is fulfilling for you. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like if you are an artist, but you feel like artistry doesn't make any type of money. You know what I'm saying? And when I say art, I mean, because there's different forms of artistry, but I mean like drawing, painting, you know, but
music.
Right. Music, dance. Or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But people around you have told you that's not fulfilling, that's not a career, there's not a big chance that you can make it in there. You know what I mean? But everybody, you can make it in your own right. And everybody doesn't want fame from their artistry. You know what I'm saying? Some people are satisfied with, if they do music, just being able to perform live, just, you know what I'm saying, one time at their local bar or something like that, at the local spot. You know what I'm saying? The juke joint that, you know what I'm saying, let you perform with your little band or whatever the case may be. But if you get away from your purpose, man, if you don't have any motivation, you get away from your purpose, there's a big chance that you may go down a slippery slope.
It's just a downfall from that, bro. It's just a downfall from that.
And I say that from my own experience as well.
Because I feel like everybody is at a point where they have no motivation. Almost no motivation.
Almost.
It's just like, what's the point? I don't care. It's just like that you just push everything aside. Nothing matters. Nothing. It's just like one of those low moments. Yeah. Everybody's been there before.
I think everybody have been there before. If you say you haven't been, it's just a fear of coming out with it, man. Nothing is wrong at being at that point as long as you pick yourself up.
And if you feel down, no matter what the stigma says, go seek help. You know what I mean? Behavioral health is good. It's okay to say that everybody has mental health issues because, you know, the body's broken up into three things: mind, body, and soul. So human is broken up into three things. So right. We care about our spiritual health. We care about our physical health. We got to care about mental health too.
Most definitely.
Don't worry what nobody say. Just go get help.
We got to break that stigma.
For sure.
And the stigma starts with you, with yourself. If you break that stigma, man, you'll be surprised how many people you can actually motivate to actually seek help, to find out how they can get help. Like, you got to, man. You got to.
Right.
Because it's very important, man. And I cannot stress it enough, especially within the black community, man, because sometimes we don't even realize what has scarred us in our lives. And we holding on to this hate and we holding on to this hurt and we can't let it go, you know, and we just passing it on through generations because we was not brave enough or had the courage to go and seek help. Right. I don't want them people in my business. They ain't finna tell me why I act the way I do. We didn't heard it, man.
That's bad.
You know what I'm saying? It's no good, man. You gotta let that go. You gotta let that hurt go, because if you don't learn how to properly love and to how to properly move forward. You know what I mean? Right. And I feel like that's huge. I cannot stress it enough. How much that matters to me.
I don't be every help.
I have to.
Yeah,
I have to.
I feel like it actually helps.
It did, especially when you're talking to a non-biased person, like somebody that don't know the situation, and the first time they hearing it is from you. Mm. Even if you do but see, when you do that, right, you gotta. I mean, my experience, they unwrapped the thing because I kind of just told my story and made it sound like, you know, where it was satisfying to me. You know what I'm saying? Where fit my needs to tell the story. But when you go talk to an unbiased source, you know, they really break it down and unwrap like, okay, why did you do that then? You know what I'm saying? Just questions that you probably don't want to answer, but they gonna get it out.
If you're still watching right now, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe and make sure you like. Make sure you like and comment, even if it's bad, even if you don't like it. If you dislike it, tell us why. You know, constructive criticism mean a lot.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
So moving on.
I couldn't even say the word. You heard me? I was like, I'm gonna let it go. He already said it. All right.
So moving on, we're gonna go into the meat of the day.
Yes.
We're gonna talk about finances.
Yes, and we like to call this segment "Growing Together."
Yeah.
Growing together.
Cause we're not perfect.
We're not perfect. You know.
We still got our financial issues.
Right.
You know, we're still trying to grow. We're still on the path to financial freedom. And this is not financial advice. Don't say, oh yeah, Mill told me to do this. Trell told me to do this. Put all my money in a Dogecoin or something like that, or GameStop.
Right.
No, this is not financial advice. This is just giving out some tips and tricks, just like where we mess up, where we go wrong, and we're just going to chop it up about finance. I feel like it's something that we don't talk about. We never really had that conversation in a household.
No.
Me and Joel talk about it as adults now, but in the household growing up, we don't talk about economics or finance.
That's very true. That's very true. It was not a big thing, you know what I'm saying? Unless you being told you got McDonald's money. You know what I'm saying? That's like the only time finances or something's being talked about, when you ask for something and you ain't gonna get it.
You're not gonna get it.
You know, if your mama tell you got McDonald's money, you ain't getting no McDonald's, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to let that Happy Meal go, brother.
You have to eat them leftovers that night.
But yeah, man, like Mill said, man, this is not us being financial advisors. This is not, basically, it's just steps that we took that we are continuing to take for financial freedom and having some type of financial literacy. So what you want to start off with, Mill?
Financial literacy, you just said it, right?
Okay.
So financial literacy is the ability to understand financial skills.
Right.
And to use those financial skills for better. Not for worse. Not for exploitation. It's about getting financial freedom. And they don't teach us financial literacy in school, and that's one of the most important things we need.
Right.
One of the reasons why, that's why I said the dude just working his whole life and just waiting for retirement is because the individuals who came up with the current school system we have, like Rockefeller, he said he'd rather have a nation of workers than thinkers.
Right.
So if you want these people to work for your business, your corporation, you're not going to train them for ways to provide for their family without working for you. You're going to just set them up along the way. Because when you think about it, what's a diploma? A receipt. It's saying, I went to school for 12 years. Here's my receipt.
Bro, not to cut you off, bro. Like elementary through high school, that is daycare.
Yeah.
That is daycare.
If you go. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all it is daycare. Like when you really think about it, it is schools out there, right? Like it's fine art schools that do things, it's schools that have different programs that could possibly help you survive on the outside, different clubs. I had some of them at my school. I'm not going to lie. You know what I'm saying? I was in FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America. I was in agricultural, FFA, junior Civitan. I was in different clubs like that, but a lot of kids not going out and looking for those clubs.
They're not.
You know what I mean?
They're trying to go home.
Yeah, trying to go home. I don't want to be here afterwards.
And plus, the average school, the average public school, the zone school,
right.
Or I went to a real good school. I went to Poly.
Right.
Did I go?
Where that's at.
I didn't go, but I attended Poly. You know what I mean? I didn't really like the structure of the school and all that school number thing. But they had programs, I guess, but they weren't really put out there for people, Mm-hmm. And if you took an economics class, that's like an extra thing. It's not mandatory. That should be mandatory. How to grow your own food, how to buy a house, how to do taxes. These are all things that you have to do. You have to eat food to live. You have to live in a house, and you have to have money to provide for your family. Yeah. And that's not taught in school. I have not used physics. I do. But the average person does not use physics on a day-to-day.
That's crazy, though, because you don't get any of those classes like economics or any of these, those are like extracurriculum classes. They not basic classes, and they should be. You know what I'm saying? There should be a life class that's given in school. That should be mandatory. You know what I'm saying? But that's not how it is. That's not what they're doing when you get to high school. You know what I'm saying? If you finish all these bullshit ass credits that we give to y'all first, then maybe we'll put you in one of these classes, you know what I'm saying, that could possibly really help you with life. And I got to do economics, and I had a great economics teacher. Like, we couldn't even call him by his last name. Like, he was like, I don't know who set up this structure to where you had to call me by my last name. That's not how we do it in the real world. You know what I'm saying? You meet me for the first time. If you put a mister in front of it, if you don't, does that make you any less disrespectful or any more respectful? You know what I'm saying? Like, we couldn't raise our hand in his class. Like, he was just cool, calm, collected. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, pay attention to what I'm teaching and you may learn something. That's how he felt about it.
And that was in high school, you said?
That was in high school. But that was my senior year.
Oh, okay.
After I had finished everything else.
Yeah, I think financial, because by that time, you've done something to make money. I don't care what it is. You've done something. Shovel, snow. Well, Florida. No, you don't.
We're not shoveling any snow, buddy.
Snow, or mowing lawns, or selling snow cones. Anything.
Yeah, you done did some type of thing to get some money.
Yeah.
So what are the do's and don'ts? What? Let's start.
I'm gonna start with don'ts.
Yeah, let's start with my don'ts. From my experience, that's the only thing I can speak on is my don'ts. So my don'ts.
First of all, is understanding the difference between an asset and a liability. Yes. Liability is stuff that takes money out of your pocket. Assets are anything that adds wealth to you or anything that's worth money. You know what I mean? We don't understand the difference between an asset and a liability. And when you buy a lot of liabilities, you're losing. You're not getting any money because you're not putting money into assets because you don't know what they are.
Right. Are my Jordans liabilities?
No, it depends how you use them. Because if you hold on to Jordans for their resale value, it's not a liability. But if you go hooping them, it's a liability.
Nah, it's a liability.
My biggest liability is food. I know how to cook, bro. I be chefing. I have my own Alfredo recipe.
I cannot argue with that, bro.
You can't cook, bro?
No, yes. I'm saying food is like one of my biggest liabilities.
I could go in the house and chef something up, but I'd rather just go get some food. And I just like going to restaurants by myself for no reason.
Just complete laziness.
And
I don't feel like cooking.
That's a big expense.
And you'll find any reason to not feel like cooking.
Yeah.
Quick. You know the problem? I know some people that don't even eat leftovers.
Just had some before we came with right now. Some lamb chops.
Right.
It's good too.
Sometimes it's better when you reheat it.
Air fryer.
That flavor that's set in there.
You got an air fryer, it's gonna work.
Hey, if you don't have an air fryer, man, I can't talk to you. I'm sorry.
And what's another? Oh, my biggest don't. And I think the food ties into this. I'm addicted to fast money, bro. Fast money is an addiction. When you coming up and let's say you do something to where you making bread every day like that, it's just like you used to it coming in and out, and whenever you want extra, like some extra bread, you can get it like it's nothing.
Right.
Like it's a cakewalk to get some extra bread. You know what I mean? So when you change your life around, you transition to something, 2 weeks, you gotta start learning how to. You're not living your old life no more.
Right.
So my thing is, with the Army check, it's not enough. I don't care what nobody says. It's not enough. Especially,
it's not.
I don't care who you. It's not enough. So that's why I do side stuff, side hustles, and I'm really into the options, like stock options and stocks and options. But what
options scary, man.
But I'm like me. I'm a gambler, so I'm gonna go for the big risk, big reward. I'm trying to get the bag, but.
Now, okay, so since you say that, I will go to my don't. Do not go to the casino like it's a come up, okay? Don't take your last $200 and go to the casino and try to come up. You can end up going down. Now, you may get lucky, but do not make that like a go-to, like, oh, this is my last $200. Let me go to the casino. Let me go buy these scratch-off tickets.
I've never been to the casino before, bro.
Really?
I've been 21 for almost a year now.
So, I was stationed in Louisiana, so it was casinos everywhere. Yeah. And, oh my goodness, it got bad. I wouldn't say I had a gambling problem, but I was definitely going there on the regular.
Usually when people say, I'm not going to say I have it, they got it. It's okay, bro. You don't do it no more. That's all that matters.
Wow.
That's all that matters. On the regular, that's a lot. On the regular?
I would say a don't, right? And this is gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings. don't help nobody if you ain't got it yourself.
Facts.
Like, I don't know what it is that, you know what I'm saying, we feel like we have to help somebody, even though we don't have it ourselves, or we know what we still need to handle or what we need to do. Listen, the thing about it is, people gonna always feel some type of way about something. But how can you save somebody else or help somebody else out of their predicament when you can't even help yourself? You know, it just doesn't make no sense. And I know, like, we have this big habit of living off of the borrowing system. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I got it this month, let me borrow it from you. Oh, you still owe me this money. Listen, one thing that I love that I learned is the borrower becomes the servant. You dig what I'm saying? So first of all, if you're gonna do something for somebody, do it out the kindness of your heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, not looking for anything to come back. You know what I mean? And if you borrow from somebody, get them back their money as soon as possible. You know? And I done had problems with that. I'm not gonna lie, because it seems like it's just problem after problem after problem. But I mean, now as I have gotten older, if somebody asks me for something and if I got it, I try to help. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But if I ain't got it, I'm gonna be honest with you and I'd be like, I cannot fade it. You know, if they feel some type of way about that, then how much are they really your people?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta, and then what I'm realizing is, like, sometimes you do for people and they can't even be there for you.
It's not about that though.
It's not about that. But that's why I say that's why, like, I'm not into the borrowing thing.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm gonna do something for you, I'm just gonna do it.
We don't count favors.
Like, I don't look for nothing back.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, people be keeping tally marks, man. Oh, they bought $50 today.
For real?
Man, you'll be surprised at things I didn't experience, bro.
So some dues. What's some dues? What's some advice?
Some dues?
Yeah.
So this is something I'm trying to get better at, but it's hard for me saving, man. Cause I feel like when I try to save, something always happens. Nothing is really that serious that happens to where you should have to go into your savings.
I don't have a savings account.
Really?
Yeah. I was reading a book. So, like, all right, so my due is, first due is education. I was reading a book called, shout out to Mike. Shout out to Big Bro Mike. Mike gave me all the gems, bro. Mike came to a book club meeting. We was random strangers. He pulled me aside after me. He was like, I like you. I'm going to put you on to something. You know, we was studying for hours, days, hours, like putting me on. He was like, you need to read this book. If you don't read this book, you need to write an essay. And I'm like, I got you. He was like, I need to see a bank statement. I need to see it. What are you spending money? Because he was just like, I'm invested in you making more. Right. He told me, read Richest Man in Babylon. Read that book. That's the first book on your financial journey. Read that book. First 3 chapters, life changing. Everything else,
say it again.
Cool. Richest Man in Babylon. Richest Man in Babylon. It's free on YouTube too. It's free on YouTube, so you don't even gotta read it. You gotta read it. It's audiobook.
I'm gonna tap into that myself.
But in the book, he said, if there was something I desired, I know that time and study would be required. The first thing you need to focus on is education. You need to educate yourself on financial literacy because it's not like a skill. You learn the skill. So it's to be learned. No one's born like, oh, I'm just good at finances. You have to learn it. And the way to learn it is to dig in that book.
So does that mean, so how does that tie back to not saving?
Because, right? Mm-hmm. You said something after the saving. But it goes back to not saving by this. He said 7 ways to save a lean purse. And what he put us onto, what Mike put me onto, he said, what's a savings account? A savings account is a bank getting over on you. They're just lending you money whenever you need it. But when that money is sitting there, that is basically a file. It's just a file because it's not real cash. It's a file. And they're using that money to invest into a whole bunch of other things, but they just know they can give it back to you when you need it. You know what I mean? So if I got 20 bands, right, sitting in a savings account with no interest, that is crazy. It's mind blowing to me because Mike to put me on. He's like, you can put 10 bands into options. You know what I mean? And you can put 5 bands into a long-term stock and 5 bands into dividend stocks. Dividend stocks are stocks that pay you monthly, quarterly, and yearly. So instead of you getting 0 interest, 0 dividends, 0 return on the savings, you know what I mean? You can have money. You can make your money work for you. That's one of the biggest things. Like Mike told me, shout out to you, Mike, bro. You saved my life, bro. He told me a lot of people talk about the money that they make. A lot of people don't talk about the money they save. But a lot of people, even less people talk about the money, what they do with what they save. Mm-hmm. You got to make that money work for you. You know, you got to turn your assets into more assets. It should be a continuous flow of assets. That's the dues. You know, you have to make your money work for you. I have a job. I don't work a strenuous job. I don't work very hard, but I know a lot of people that break their back and do really hard labor. 8 hours, 12 hours. And when they get home, they don't work for themselves. You have to make that same bread that you working 8 hours for, doing back breaking labor for, work for you. So what am I going to put money in a savings account for when I can put that money into an account that's going to double or triple?
Right.
Or pay me monthly on dividends, which is also safe. Dividends are safe. They're low risk stocks. Or my TSP or a Roth IRA for my child that's not even born yet.
Right. That's
no one's pregnant. No one's pregnant when I say not born yet. I don't got nobody pregnant.
I don't. But so all safe. That's one thing like that's good about credit unions, because most of the time when you put money into your savings, it has some type of interest that's growing while it's in the savings. When you went into the other stuff of putting your money in, I definitely agree with, investing your money, doing something with your money. But I cannot agree with the fact of not having a savings at all.
Let me tell you why though. So you pull out your savings when you need it, or you're saving.
Oh, listen. Right? It's fine. You can go into all that.
No, I'm
not going to change my mind.
What's the purpose of a savings account though?
In case something happens.
So you liquid cash is what you need.
No, but even with my savings right now, the percentage is not high, but there's some type of interest with my money sitting in my savings. And
the thing is, like, I don't work for the bank, and I'm not gonna let them get pennies off. I'm not gonna make pennies off their million by having my money work for them. I'm gonna make sure that I'm tracking and doing it, because bro, it's just like it's like security versus trusting yourself. So that same 20K. You don't have to invest. You can flip pallets. You could do your little side hustle. You could do so many things. You can sell things on Amazon. You can sell things on eBay. It's so many legal hustles to make money. It don't matter how you can have OnlyFans. You can do anything to fund to have that natural flow of income to put into these other things.
I do not disagree with that, but even with all of those things, there are limitations on them as well. If you want to pull that money out with TSP, you have to get it approved to just pull that out. Even with your stocks, right? And we know this, except for with options, and options is a big chance, and you gotta be on top of it.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? There is a risk within that. If you have money in your savings, regardless if the bank is taking it, and I definitely understand, as long as my money is back, as long as I don't see it gone, then we ain't got no problem.
Same with me.
But the thing is though,
I can always access it. It's liquid cash though.
No, not always. Because even when we had the conversation when I was pulling money out of my stock, how long did I have to wait for that money to come back?
That's because you're not as active on it. Me right now, I can pull everything out right now while we're talking right now.
And it's gonna pop up in your account right now.
Yes, I'll show you right.
Yes, but you don't do long term though. You do options.
I do long term. I have long term positions as well. Shout out to KOPN. Get it right now and just took a dip. Buy the dip.
I would still say that keeping the savings, some type of savings. It doesn't have to be a lot. But I definitely do agree with you when you say that you also need to be putting your money in there. It's not enough just to have your income, saving money off of your income. Of course, create different assets to continue to bring money in and keep money flowing and growing. You get what I'm saying? I definitely agree with that. But I feel like there should definitely be some type of savings.
Yeah,
that's just my
like
opinion.
A 6 month emergency fund.
Everybody like a 6 month. Fund. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if something just hits the fan, like we can last. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely agree. You definitely should have a constant flow of assets. Don't just be saving money and stacking your money up and you not taking no risk to where you can even create more.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But I feel like some type of savings you should have some type of savings. Right. Like, because things happen.
Another dude. It's an app on your phone, right? Called Numbers app. Mm-hmm. It has a budget. So when you talk about saving, the Numbers app, it's already on your phone. Create a budget and change it every month and become more strict till you get it perfect down to science and figure out what you love to do, and whatever you love to do with that money that you have left over, make sure you make more money with that. Peace.
Oh yeah. So I mean, okay, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves because that's kind of like resources, but there's two other apps too that you can use: Digit and Capital. So if you attach your accounts to it, they actually go off of your spending, and they'll actually like calculate how much you spend, and then put like a savings and create like a withdrawal to where it's creating a savings account for you. So those are two accounts that also help, and you don't even really notice it because I think it like rounds up. So I have Digit. I deleted Capital because I was using it in Korea, but I wasn't using it effectively. Like I said, I'm always dipping into my savings, so don't do that. So that's why I end up deleting the app while I was in Korea. Right. But I got put on to the app Digits, and it basically like, so like I say you spend like $13.43 on something, it'll round it up and then put that into your savings.
Like Acorn.
Basically, something like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man.
What are some other resources you got?
Some other resources. So financial advisors. We don't talk about financial advisors enough. Just like with, getting help for mental or whatever the case may be, financial advisors can really help you set up a budget plan, help you get to a point to how much you spend, and help you achieve those financial goals that you want to. So I found somewhere online, Green Path Financial Wellness. They actually do call-ins for financial advisors. You can talk over the phone. Green Path Financial Wellness.
Okay.
Some banks that offer financial advice also is Wells Fargo, Navy Federal, Bank of America, Region Bank, and USAA. All those banks have some type of financial advice program. So definitely tap into them to, or even even if you don't have any of those banks, call your bank, and ask that question. Just ask them. There's no hurt in ask them. But I think, you want to gain that knowledge. One thing so besides the resources, something I realized, right? So what happens when you try to put your parents onto this? Like when you're trying to tell your people, like to try to give your people financial freedom. Like you don't want just all this knowledge for yourself. You want to, you want to teach them. You know what I'm saying? You want to group.
It depends where they at. Like I feel like my mother would accept it very well, but just in the position that she's in, she's just like, I'm good. She's satisfied. Like she doesn't want a lot of money.
Right.
Because she's she has a home, she has a vehicle, her kids are her house. You know what I mean? Yeah. She got kids that will do anything for her. Yeah. She think we got money. We don't got it like that, Ma. You know what I mean? We make sure you straight forever, but we ain't got it like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, like even with going into like helping them like clear debt, I feel like, because older people, man, sometimes are just stuck in their ways. It's like, I've been doing good all this time, I'll be all right. So just being financially free. Like it's not about having a lot of money, but you know what I'm saying? Like getting rid of those debts and creating a plan for them to get out of that debt. Like how do you go about that?
That's what I'm saying. You just have to re-educate them. All people are like children. You got to give them time to grow, no matter how old they are. You know what I mean? You got to give them time to grow and consistently put pressure on them. Like me right now, I have friends, homegirls, homeboys. I give them I actually give them financial advice. Not legally, but I'm your financial advisor. There's none of that.
Right.
But I give them financial advice if they're like facing a hard time, or I just want to see them get some more money. And I would do the same thing that I do with them with my parents. Yeah. Like I said, it's just different with my situation because my mom's awfully understanding. Right. You can have a conversation. I'm like, Mom, watch this course on stocks. She's like, okay. That did stocks ever. Okay, I'll do it. Download Robinhood. All right,
I think with my family is more of a like example. You know what I'm saying? Like if I show them like, hey, I did this, that, and the third, and I accomplished this, then they'll be like,
right.
Show me. You know what I'm saying? Like my family, I feel like it's like a show me. But that's fine though, because it's like what we talked about. Like if you the football player and your team losing, and you the football player that's sitting on the bench and you trying to motivate the team, we can still win this. Everybody gonna look at you like, bro, you sitting on the bench. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't motivate me. You're not out here making a difference between whether we win or lose. So I think it's the same thing. Like when you try to help somebody become financially free or give somebody financial advice, you got to be an example. You got to be living by that, and that's my goal. I'm not where I want to be financially, but I know the tools that I can go to. I know the things I can look up. to try to get a better understanding, to become financially free. It was one more thing you wanted to talk about, though, when it comes to finances.
Group economics. Oh, yeah, economics. But a resource that was big to me when you start off that financial journey is read Richest Man in Babylon. Read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. After that, Think and Grow Rich. And if you want to take it into group economics and know how to do it for your community, I'm not going to get too into this book. This is a thick book, Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson. He labels everything. He identified, a lot of people always talk about the problem. Mm-hmm. He breaks down the problem to a T. Then he breaks down how to solve the problem and the actual solutions. And in the back, he got worksheets. Like, you're trying to put in this work, I got worksheets. You know what I'm saying? But
I think another one, too, you didn't name it, but I like Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey, too.
Right.
He talks about a lot of discipline. And one of the things that he continuously speaks on is you got to live like nobody else so you can live like nobody else. You know what I'm saying? So while you're going through that financial journey or trying to get rid of your debt and stuff like that, there are things that you are just going to have to be disciplined about that you're not going to be a part of like you are used to being a part of. That book, that's more of like a as the steps go type book. Like, that's not a book you just read all the way out and then you try to apply. Like, you gotta apply those steps as time goes on. But yeah.
So next we got yes or no, right? Don't look like that, bro.
No, it's okay.
So I got a
man.
question for you, right?
I'm not worried about it.
Toya, you see it, right? Shout out to our engineer Ed Toya, yo. She be holding it down, She making sure we sound good. You know what I'm saying? Make sure the light right. But what I was about to say. Okay, so my question is for you, right? Because we see a lot of this going on, especially right now.
Okay.
Yes or no? Mm-hmm. Is this new generation? Matter of fact, double question it up. I'm gonna double question it up because this is the last thing. That's what, after this, you know what I mean? This is the last thing.
Okay.
Is this new generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
The popular generation, we're not gonna get no age group, but it's really all of us for real that's not old. The social media generation. Anybody can log into Facebook and Twitter or Instagram.
Okay.
Are they too sensitive?
Yes.
And is the council culture like really is that important? Like,
no.
Right.
Yes and no.
Okay. Why do you say yes for people who are too sensitive? What's your explanation behind that?
This is the thing. If you go on social media looking for justification, your feelings is going to get hurt every time. You get what I'm saying? It goes back to what we was talking about earlier. And I don't know why I've been hearing about this topic all day.
Dr. Seuss?
No, not that. not Dr. Seuss.
As hell, bro. Continue.
I was listening to a podcast earlier, and this is what they was talking about as well. Like, we really live in an era of like, you have to, if you don't follow the trend, if you don't get that justification from people you don't even know, probably,
right?
Like, you can't say nothing. You can't give your opinion. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody is just gonna shun you if it doesn't go with the common belief. Nobody wants anybody to be different anymore.
No,
like. The majority doesn't want you to be
different. I feel like the big thing now is that everybody wants to be different, but they end up being just alike.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's disgusting.
I think I say that kind of hard. Yeah. But real life, though, like, and then, like, the council culture, like, listen, bruh. So I relate this to the whole, like, oh, they invited to the cookout.
Oh, Lord.
Like, listen, bruh.
You invited somebody to the cookout, the Juneteenth cookout.
Who?
No, it wasn't you. It was somebody else. I ain't gonna name drop. It was Naya, but I'm not gonna put nobody's business out there. She invited one to the cookout. You dig what I'm saying?
But listen, like, just the whole thing, bro. Like, the council culture, man. Listen, there is a certain point, especially as an adult, right? Whatever you may define that by, because most of you that do it are sensitive. You claim to be adults, so the thing you have to realize is, this does not make or break me. You have to be confident in yourself before you go out looking for it everywhere else.
Right.
And the thing is, what I realized too, is like, a lot of people don't realize when they need a cleanse from all of that. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's just ridiculous how much social media just drives, like, what a relationship's supposed to look like, how you supposed to carry yourself like a man, how you supposed to carry yourself like a woman. You know what I'm saying?
And most of it is the wrong answer.
And most of it is the wrong answer. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it's like social media is Google now. You know what I'm saying?
So this is my piece on it, right?
Okay.
I think on social media, everybody is extremely sensitive because, you know, it's just, we live, like you said, we live in a society now where you really can't speak your piece. But I feel like when you don't speak your piece, so much things go wrong because you don't say how you feel, so you're not expressing your true inner self with the world. You know, you're failing the world when you hold back. Mm-hmm. You know, if that's how you feel, say it. If they don't like it, they don't like it. Like, we was raised on sticks and stones, may break our bones, but it may never hurt us. But we learned that words do mean a lot.
They do.
And they do hurt people. Mm-hmm. So certain sensitivity to certain topics is understood, but I feel like it's oversensitivity. But at the same time, that's really, I feel like, a social media thing because, like, you go to certain, like, Baltimore, yo, they're not sensitive, bro. They don't care what you say. You know, we hard body in Baltimore, you dig what I'm saying? So they don't care about none of that. And as far as cancel culture goes, like with the whole Nick Cannon situation, I really was a fan of the Cannon's class, you know what I mean? I used to watch Cannon's class all the time. And I feel like we counseled him, and he said, I feel like people should counsel me instead of cancel me. You know what I mean? Bring me in, show me what I did wrong, bring me back up. And that's what we should do instead of shunning people. Because shunning people, putting people down, making them lose their job, you know, you playing with somebody's money. You playing with how people feed their kids, bro.
Right.
Don't counsel them. Bring them to the side. Like, that's just like we was having a conversation in the barbershop.
But you know why they can't do that, bro?
What?
Because they don't know no better themselves. Right. They just going along with the trend. It's not, most of the time, like, their opinions, like with the whole cancel culture, it's not standing on nothing. You get what I'm saying? It's not standing behind nothing. It's not standing behind facts. It's not standing behind, hey, good brother, let me educate you. Like the conversation we had before we started recording. You know what I'm saying? That's education and being able to take it and saying, okay,
you right.
I think about it in that light now. You know what I'm saying? Instead of looking at all of the negative things that could go wrong with it, you know, look at the positive part of it and what will really happen. Look at what the true majority is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we unconsciously not even paying attention to that because we are so blinded by media and social media and what society thinks or what they don't think. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I saying the right thing? Am I saying the wrong thing? There are wrong answers. Don't get me wrong. But if you have an opinion on something, speak your truth.
Speak your truth.
Speak your truth. That's what it's all about, man. If you don't speak your truth, then what are you really doing? You just confide into whatever somebody say and whatever is going on.
Status quo. Leave the status quo alone. Remember that song from High School Musical? Don't act like you don't. Don't act like you too cool. Don't act like you way older than me, bro.
No, I was not going to say that. I was a fan of High School Musical.
Okay. On High School Musical, we're gonna wrap it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Hey, thank y'all for joining us again, man. This is episode 2 of the podcast. We appreciate everybody that has followed our IG. Follow us on Instagram, Ego Aside Podcast. Follow us on Facebook, Ego Aside Podcast. Follow us on YouTube, Ego Aside Podcast. Follow us on anything, share, like, comment. We are not afraid of your opinions. This is a safe zone.
Especially if it's something bad.
Preferably
something good. But if it's something bad, then, you know, we could work on it. I like constructive criticism. I feel like that lifts me up.
I'm not even going to try to say that word again because for some reason it just can't come out. I don't know what's going on. But man, we appreciate y'all though, man. And
I'm Mill.
I'm Trell, man.
That's Ego Aside, though.
Yes, sir.